Good afternoon, everyone. I am Teacher Jim, and our topic today is all about face-to-face communication. We will be talking about what is face-to-face communication and the effective listening. Okay, so the objectives are define face-to-face communication, identify different ways of effective listening. Okay, so what is face-to-face communication, by the way? Welcome to discuss on this topic. We are going to venture the definition and importance of face-to-face communication, as well as which with the tips of effective face-to-face communication. Now, we all know how technology drastically changed communication. Email, voicemail, text message, instant message, and Twitter, and many more. The list goes on. So there are more than enough ways to communicate already. And too often, they add up to message overload, which also allowed the effectivity of communication to depreciate over time. And so we have to go back to the ideal face-to-face communication, perhaps, again, and reapply its ideals to technology aided. So these are the 6 reasons why we need to communicate face-to-face. We have number one is demonstrate importance. So being there in a person tells your audience they are important to you and the issue you are discussing is worth your time and theirs. Your focus will get people's attention and increase the potential for your message to be heard, while clearly a positive aspect of face-to-face communication. This is also one of the reasons strategic focus should be placed on which topics to include on the agenda. Okay, the number two is interpret thoughts and feelings. Of course, when you are going to face-to-face, you can demonstrate your feelings, and also you can interpret your thoughts, you can explain well. So when you're face to face, you can see you can see and respond to the people reactions, like facial expression, the body language, as well as their tone of voice. The speakers have the chance to show their care by asking probing questions and actively listening to understand the audience's perspective. This is especially critical when you need listeners to adapt a new behaviors to advance your goals, such as in times of change. Okay, the next one is enhance credibility and trust. So speakers need to build listeners' trust to be effective. Of course, the speakers itself should have a rapport to the listeners so that the speaker is effective, and there is a face-to-face interaction. So face-to-face interaction allows you to share your strategy, explain it clearly. As the number two says, that you can use your body language and the voice of your tone. And also explain it clearly and answer questions honestly. Of course, when it comes to face, that is impromptu. I say it's impromptu. You can answer it directly and honestly, whatever the listener's question is. Okay, employees see how actions align with words, which enhances leaders' credibility and trust. These sessions also create opportunities to tell stories about how a particular strategy is being lived by listeners and recognize listeners for positive actions. Okay, the next one is build relationships. So interacting directly with other speakers, leaders, managers, and employers expand your network and establishes shared experience that can enhance future communication. The activities needed to build agendas and presentations build greater comfort with messaging. Generally, if you need to share information with someone else, you need to understand it yourself first. Of course, you must know your topic first before you will share. Okay? And it also helps create camaraderie, that is basis of cooperation and success across the organization. Okay, and the next one is we have the gather feedback. Also, meeting in person helps listeners feel valued and give and gives them a chance to contribute into organizational strategies and communication. So it gives a leader chance to confirm people's understanding of key issues and then identify gaps and encourage ongoing feedback and engagement. Consider using interactive technology to gather live data. Okay, the next one is we have the address sensitive issues. Finally, one of the biggest benefits of face-to-face communication is demonstrating respect for listeners and a commitment to a successful outcome. When you deal with a sensitive issue face to face, whether you are providing specific feedback to increase their success or delivering a tough message. Focus on your desired outcome and prepare by understanding the listener's mindset and possible reactions. Ultimately, your involvement means a lot of taking the time to meet can help turn a challenging conversation into a trust building interaction. Don't forget to follow up on issues discussed in future meetings and or other channels to avoid diminishing the credibility you've created. So face-to-face communication interaction is a concept of sociology, linguistics, media, and communication studies describing social interaction carried out without any mediating technology. So face to face, in other words, is there's no technology involved within. Okay, so you are one on one. That is one of the best example is just like a classroom setting that is a face to face. A meeting a meeting on the office, that is one of the example of face-to-face communication. So face-to-face interaction is defined as the mutual influence of individuals direct physical presence with his her body language. With the root word direct, it is direct physical presence with the speaker's body language to the listeners. So here are the face-to-face communication advantages. Letter A, we have the nonverbal cues. You can gauge how interested someone is in what you are talking about by reading their body language. So you can determine your audience or listeners if they are interested to your topic or if they are listening to your topic of what you're talking about. If you're in a meeting and your colleagues are fiddling with their pens or checking their watches, you know that you have to adjust the tone of your voice or use more exciting language to capture their attention. So when it comes to face, you can if you think that the way you talk is not effective to them, they are using they are playing their pens and then they are looking their watches. So you can determine when it comes to face if they are bored just like that, and then use so that you can switch your tone at the same time you can switch other strategy for you to catch their attentions and you can so that you can build a rapport with your listeners. Okay, then now letter B is we have the effectiveness. So face-to-face communication in person and in-person meetings can boost efficiency. Instead of spending an entire day emailing back and forth, you can hash out all the details of a project in one go. This meeting can also boost creativity as the overall energy will higher so you can brainstorm and solve a multitude of problems at one time. And face-to-face communication can also be much more effective for those who may struggle with written communication. That's true. And everyone has their own unique set of skills. And some people are much more fluid and clear with verbal communication. Oh, that's correct. We are not in the same when it comes in skills. We have our own unique set of skills. Maybe you are good in verbal communication, maybe you are good in written communication. So it is effective when it comes to face-to-face communication. And the other one is we have the personal touch. So adding the personal touch of face-to-face communication is much more important to those dealing with outside clients and stakeholders. This is one of the best advantage it is for the companies. Okay, a sense of community comes with the ability of interact and socialize. This sets a foundation for trust and ultimately creates a better working relationship. So when you have to deal some a project with your company, this is very one of the most effective personal touch in face-to-face communication. While face-to-face communication is not always an option due to distance or conflicting schedules, it is important that you do not forget about it completely. Whenever possible, take the time to interact with your colleagues face to face and enjoy the benefits. So these that are the three face-to-face communication advantages. We have the, let's recall, we have the nonverbal cues, the effectiveness, and the personal touch. So here are the tips here are the tips for effective face-to-face communication. So number one, focus on key messages. So people are bombarded with lots of informations every day. So to maximize your effect, you need to keep your message simple and clearly. They say that what do you call of this? You must deliver your message very simple but very clearly so that they can understand it and they will recall. Okay, what are the three most important things to get across? These are your key messages. Stick to them. Don't get sidetracked. The only way to get your point home is to keep it clear, simple, and to reinforce it. It's much better to repeat 3 points 3 times than make a separate points. Your audience won't remember them all anyway. Make sure that one of your messages is about what people can do to help. Your aim is to get people to act, not just to talk. Okay? The aim of face to face is not only just talk and talk and talk. This is only for the interaction with your listeners. And we have also on a stall against air travel. Your three messages could be climate, chaos is a massive threat, air travel is a major contributor, taking action is easy to reduce your flights. This is in a plane. Okay. The number two, we have the body language and the tone of voice. Okay, getting the messages across is more than just knowing your stuff and saying the right words. To get people to listen and believe you, you need to sound and look persuasive. Of course, when you are in a face-to-face communication, you have to be, what do you call of this? You have to be in a formal, of course, so that your listeners will believe on you, and you need also to be look nice, of course. It's how you say the words and how you look when you're saying them that count most. Okay, the other one is eye contact. This is one of the most important, is the eye contact. If you want people to talk to you, you need just the right amount of eye contact. As you see someone approaching, make eye contact and smile. Okay, you don't forget to smile with eye contact, but don't let it become a staring contest. Okay, let the contact go. You've acknowledged their and told them you're willing to talk to them. As they get nearer, and reestablish the contact and hit them with your opening line. And the other one is we have talking to your audience. Many of our actions and encounters are strategically targeted at specific groups, whether public, the media, employees of a particular industry, or a company, or decision makers. People also adopt different roles at different times. During the week, the same person will respect receptive to different messages and different time. Think about who you need to talk to and what time to achieve your aims. Put yourself in people's shoes. What is they will care about, or and try and also make your message relevant to the person that you are talking to. The way you look can have a powerful effective on the interaction. Whether to change your appearance to suit your audience is controversial, but well worth thinking about. Is wearing the favorite car drivers are scam t-shirt really going to encourage car drivers to listen to your argument? Okay, this is one of the very important when it comes to eye contact. About when you are talking also when you are going to other country. That's one of my experience when I go to other country is when I face to immigration officer. When they are talking to you, you should have the eye to eye contact so that the immigration officer will approve your visa and visiting their country, and they will believe you that you're visiting, you have a good purpose in visiting on their country. Okay. And then the other one is we have the effective listening. This is our last topic, the effective listening. On the previous lesson, we learned the definition and advantages of face-to-face communication, as well as the different reasons why we need to have effective face-to-face communication. We were also equipped with the tips on how to communicate in face-to-face communication. So let's move on to our next topic, which is effective listening, which is also a vital element for face-to-face communication. Knowing how to listen is important for any effective communication, whether an interview, a meeting, or during a one-on-one conversation. You need to be able to focus on what the person wants to say and what they're asking from you. Yes, it involves several skills that can be learned. So, how do I listen effectively? Hmm? Okay. Number one, we should be prepared. Be aware of your own feelings and needs. Are you able to shut out interactions and focus on what this person is about to say? So you must prepare yourself when it comes, just like in a classroom setting, prepare yourself in listening to your teacher. Also in a meeting or any or a company meeting, just like that, you should be prepared and also be aware to your own feelings and needs. And then the second one is we have listen and clarify. So listen to the speaker's perspective, feelings, and wants. And if you don't feel as if you've clearly understood what they are saying, or ask for clarification. So you can ask some clarification if you didn't if you don't um if you don't understood clearly what the speaker says, and hope, and also you so that you can understand what is the speaker wants to deliver. Okay. And the next one is we have the acknowledge. Acknowledge communicate to the speaker that you've heard their point of view. For example, I can hear that you are feeling very stressed at the moment. You seem to be very worried about. That is one of the most example of acknowledge. And then the other one is your posture. Make sure your posture indicates interest in what the person is saying. Of course, the way you sit, of course, that is one of the body language that the speaker will see. If he is on the in front of you, she or he will know if you're interested or not. That he she will I- she will notice if you are interested about his or her topic according of what you act in your seats. If you are doing like this, or do you doing like that, or you doing like that. Okay. And then the next one is appropriate body motion. We have, if you have your posture of, also we have the appropriate body motion. Move in a synchronized way with the speaker. A very rigid still position or too much fidgeting is distracting and off-putting. Of course, it can be distracted. As a listener, you are a one, you are the speaker is distracted when you have a lot of body movements you are doing in your seat. That is one of the distracted body motion when the speaker is delivering his speech or anything what the speaker's telling. Okay, the other one is eye contact. Respect cultural difference. For Maoris, Pacific Islanders, and some other groups, direct eye contact may be considered offensive or aggressive. In other country, we have other cultures. Even here, Philippines alone, in every regions we have different cultures. Maybe in others, eye to eye contact is good, but in other it is offensive or aggressive for them. So by led be led by the speaker's comfort with eye contact. Effective eye contact usually consists of bursts of eye contact with movement to other parts of person's face or hands and looking away. You, it's not about just eye. You should also look her face or anything, not just focus on his or her eye. And then we have also the suitable environment. Make sure the environment is welcoming. Of course, it should be your environment is well, good, and clean, of course. And also avoid physical barriers or like desk in the way. There's no distraction to your environment. Or any physical barriers. So that is the seven of listening effectively. And let's move to how do I know I've heard right? Okay. So number one, use paraphrasing as a reflective skill. This means providing the person with a synopsis of what they were saying. It should contain the essence of what the speaker has been saying, and this is a very powerful way of showing someone that you've heard them and most importantly understood them. Number two is reflection back their feelings or emotions. So this is rather like being a mirror for someone. The idea is to go beyond words they use and pick up on their feelings. Look and body language, listen to their tone of voice. Think of how you might feel in their position. Useful phrases include you seem pretty upset about, or it sounds like that should you up quite a bit, or I guess you're quite angry now. Mm. The next one is reflect meaning. So this is an attempt to make some logical links for the speaker, trying to help them connect thoughts, events, and feelings. For instance, you are upset because he had promised X and instead did Y. Okay. The next one is we have summarize. The last one is summarize. At the end of a discussion, it is helpful to revisit the main issues, discuss and add any outcomes to them. It seems that there are some issues which you have been worrying about and you've decided to talk to someone about them. For example, so you are going to approach about that, you can also feel that you need to go to like that or for help with the problem. So that is so that is the end of our face-to-face communication and effectively listening topic. So, thank you for listening and goodbye.